Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're thinking about law school or already starting your prep, this episode is for you. Today I'm going to share the most effective strategies for absolutely crushing the LSAT, specifically how you can set yourself up to score in the 170s. The LSAT is still one of the biggest hurdles for law school admission. Even though there's talk that the American Bar Association might eventually make it optional, that's not the case yet. So if you want to stand out, the LSAT remains the gold standard, and in my opinion, it's still the test you should take, since admissions committees know it inside and out. If you're new here, I'm your name, a lawyer, content creator, and passionate advocate for helping future law students succeed. If you like what you hear today, don't forget to subscribe and drop your questions or video ideas in the comments. Let's dive in. Eating tea. Understanding the LSAT structure. Let's start with what the LSAT actually looks like. Logical reasoning tests your ability to analyze arguments, recognize assumptions, and identify logical flaws. Logic games, analytical reasoning. These are essentially puzzles that test your ability to work with rules and deductions. Reading comprehension. You'll read dense passages and answer complex questions on main ideas, structure, and details. There's also a fourth unscored experimental section. You won't know which section it is during the test, so you have to take them all equally seriously. My focus today isn't a breakdown of every section, you can find that info easily, but on the strategies that will actually move your score into the 170s. The LSAT is a skill test, not a memorization exam. The first thing you need to know, the LSAT is not about memorizing facts or formulas. Unlike tests like the MCAT where you need a ton of content knowledge, the LSAT is about how you think. You can't cram for this test. You need to build core skills in logical reasoning, pattern recognition, and efficient reading. It's about understanding how the test makers think and training your brain to spot traps and patterns. Start early. The ideal study timeline. So when should you start prepping? My strong recommendation is 3 to 6 months before your test date. Here's how you might structure that. Month 1. Get a broad overview of the LSAT's question types. Familiarize yourself with logical reasoning, logic games, and reading comprehension. Don't use up your precious practice tests right away. Just learn the landscape first. Months 2 to 3, start doing untimed practice sections. Focus on accuracy and building a solid approach for each section. For example, learn to diagram logic games slowly and correctly, form over speed. Months 4 to 6, ramp up your study hours and start incorporating timed practice. Gradually work toward taking full-length timed practice tests to simulate the real thing. Ideally, by the time you're a month out, you're consistently taking full-length practice tests under timed conditions. Make the most of your resources. One of the great things about the LSAT is that nearly every old exam is available to you. There are about 120, 130 released tests. These are your most important study tools. Use them wisely. Don't burn through recent tests right away. Start with the oldest available exams. Since their style is a little outdated compared to what you'll see on test day, start with individual sections, not whole tests. Take your time to really understand what each question is asking. When you make a mistake, don't just read the answer and move on. Analyze exactly why you got it wrong and how you could approach it differently next time. This is where real improvement happens. Recommended resource: PowerScore LSAT Bibles. They're excellent for building foundational understanding of question types and strategies. Timing and practice: build speed through mastery. As you gain confidence, start to introduce timed sections. But don't jump into this too soon. Accuracy comes first. Diagram everything in logic games and logical reasoning. Even if you think you can keep it all in your head, diagrams are faster, clearer, and more reliable under pressure. Cross out wrong answers immediately. Eliminating options quickly reduces clutter in your brain and boosts efficiency. After about 20-30 practice tests, you'll start seeing familiar question types and patterns. Stick with it, even if you're frustrated at first. Aim to reach the point where you can complete each section within the official time limit. No exceptions. By your 50th or 60th practice test, you should be mimicking real exam conditions perfectly. Dealing with frustration and plateaus. Let's be honest, studying for the LSAT is tough. Your score might start lower than you hoped. Mine did. My first practice test was a 142, and I was convinced I'd never get into a top law school. But steady practice pays off. Over 6 months, my score climbed into the 170s. Expect setbacks and plateaus. When you hit them, analyze your mistakes, focus on your weak spots, and keep pushing forward. Track your progress with a spreadsheet or notebook. Note which question types trip you up and revisit them regularly. The language challenge for non-native speakers. A quick note: if English isn't your first language, the LSAT is heavily biased toward native speakers, especially in reading comprehension and logical reasoning. If this is you, so make time to read challenging English texts daily, editorials, essays, academic articles. Build your vocabulary with a focus on logical and argumentative terms. Consider using flashcards for tough words you encounter in practice tests. This will help you not only with the questions themselves, but with understanding the nuances and traps that the LSAT loves to set. Are expensive prep courses worth it? This is a big question. Here's my honest take. Most commercial prep courses, like Kaplan or Testmasters, are really expensive. Think $1,000 to $2,000 or more. Their main benefit is accountability and structure. They keep you on track. However, they rarely offer deep conceptual understanding beyond what you can build yourself through disciplined, focused practice. If you can create your own schedule and stick to it, you don't need to spend the money on a course. Personally, I took a commercial course and found the main benefit was just that it kept me organized. But my biggest gains came from independent study and consistent targeted practice. Hey, quick pause. If you're gearing up for the LSAT and want a study resource that actually works, I've got a great recommendation for you. Check out the LSAT Prep Guide by Mervoxid Press. This book is packed with realistic practice questions, clear explanations, and proven strategies for every part of the LSAT: logical reasoning, logic games, and reading comprehension. What I really like about this guide is how it not only covers the test material, but also shows you how to approach tricky questions, spot common traps, and build up your pacing. The step-by-step explanations make even tough logic games feel a lot more manageable. So if you want to go into your LSAT feeling prepared, confident, and ready for anything, take a look at the LSAT Prep Guide by Mervoxid Press. I'll drop a link in the description below so you can check it out. Alright, let's jump back into those LSAT tips. The power of pacing. Don't rush your LSAT journey. Don't be afraid to take your time with the LSAT. If your score isn't where you want it to be, consider delaying your test or canceling a bad score. Law schools aren't going anywhere. Even if you're 25, 30, or beyond, taking the time to add 10, 15 points to your LSAT can open doors to better schools and bigger scholarships. Remember, a higher LSAT score isn't just about bragging rights. It can mean tens of thousands of dollars in financial aid offers. If you found this helpful, please hit subscribe and leave a comment with your questions or experiences. Good luck on your journey.